I use the Netduma gaming router every day when I drop into Warzone. I couldn't compete, at least consistently, without it. But I've seen a lot of videos online and read a lot of misinformation spread on social media suggesting that those who use the device are cheating. But are we? Today I want to talk about that. Let's get into it. Thank you for watching the video. I'm Boomer. I'm old and just trying to compete against all the 22-year-old sweats. If you clicked on the video, it's likely you either use the Netduma gaming router or believe it's a cheat device. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a router that helps you join gaming lobbies with a good connection. Think less lag and decreased ping. We'll dive into ping a bit later. Without a doubt, the Netduma has garnered a lot of attention over the last few years, and a lot of criticism has been misinformed. Using the router gives you no advantage that living close to your favorite game server doesn't.
In today's video, we are going to be talking about JGod and his most recent upload to YouTube, where he actually talks about the Netduma, and it is sponsoring his video. So, let's get into it. Over the past year, there have been many different methods of cheating in Call of Duty Warzone, and one of these methods was to in fact use the Netduma routers, and this way you could change your geolocation along with a VPN, a little trick here, a little trick there, bish bash boss, you've got bot lobbies and no skill based matchmaking on your side.
Tournaments, like, dude, these kids have routers and shit that make it so they can only connect to certain locations. You get a bunch of bots in your fucking kill race tournaments. It's just that's where I'm out, man. I'm not doing that shit.
So this is the Netduma router.
I've owned a Netduma for about a year. A lot of people say you can use it to get into easy lobbies. Wouldn't that be nice? I've heard a lot of people say you can load into a Hawaiian server, which they always say has the easiest lobbies. Well, there is no such thing as a Call of Duty server in Hawaii. For the sake of argument, however, let's look at what would happen if, say, there was a known easy server somewhere in the world where the players were bots. Let's see how that would play out. Okay, I wanted to start here on the Netduma online app here so you can kind of see what owning a Netduma gives you access to. And if you take a look here, you can see here's the router. Here are all the devices we as a family have connected to the router. I've got a LAN connection to my gaming PC. We've got a Series X, various other devices. Over here is our bandwidth allocation. I can tell the router to prioritize gaming, and that's obviously important in a competitive online shooter. We seem to get by with these settings just fine elsewhere in terms of streaming, uploads, and downloads, but that's how I have this set up. Here, let's take a look at the heat map for the pings I would get if I were to play Warzone, and this is a look at servers worldwide, real time, and what their pings are. Normally, there are a lot more servers. Tonight, for whatever reason, it looks like a bunch of Activision servers are down. So I'm located here in Montana in the Northern Rockies. One of the reasons I needed a Netduma is because of my geographic location here. I'm a pretty good distance to a lot of the Activision servers. Let's take a look now at what kind of ping I would get tonight if I were to hop onto Warzone. Here, I believe that's Colorado. I would get a 70 millisecond ping, which for me is really good. I'd rarely, if ever, play at 70 millisecond ping, even when a server with that ping is available. And I'll talk about why that is here in a minute. Down here in Southern California, 64 millisecond ping. Again, that would be awesome for me. Usually Activision's SBMM throws me into servers that are, there's usually one in Texas and here along the East Coast. Now, we'll get into why I think I don't get thrown into these servers, even though they offer good ping here in a minute. Let's say, to get back to our point, that this South American server right here was known to have bot lobbies. And if you were to hop into it, you'd get easy kills and easy victories. Well, if you look at the ping here, it's 222 milliseconds. There must be two servers and one at 228 milliseconds. If you've played Warzone and you've ever played at 226 millisecond ping, you know that you're going to get destroyed in every single gunfight. You're going to not see the person on your screen in ample time. They're going to see you before you see them, just because that information is taking so long to pass from your console or computer to the Activision server in South America and then back. So if you were to use a VPN, or you could use a geofence here to play on that server, if it had worse players, it would benefit you in no way, just because of how high that ping is. Your latency and stuttering would be to your detriment. We can take a look over here in Europe. We've got a server at 198 millisecond ping and 196 millisecond ping. Now, there are often other servers elsewhere worldwide. We'll try to ping that again to see if some of the others show up. Tonight, they're not showing up, so they must have some servers down, at least at this time. This is what the ping heat map looks like. Let's go over to the Geofilter, and I'll tell you how I use it and how anybody could use it. Again, I live here in the Northern Rockies in Montana. I set my little geofence out here in the ocean, which is a trick Netduma says is the best way to do this to get good ping. Down here, I've set my ping assist to 110 milliseconds, and that just tells Netduma to not let me get into a lobby unless I can play at 110 millisecond ping or less. Now, that's not good ping, and oftentimes I will get a better ping than that. The reason I set it at 110, because if I set it at 60, it takes way too long to get into a server, because Activision is still going to go through its SBMM process. It's not going to put me into a low ping server just because I want to go there. It's going to run its algorithm through its process to make sure that I'm placed in a lobby that it wants me to be placed into. And what that recipe is, I don't know. But I have set this before to say 65 or 70 millisecond ping, and it takes forever to get into a lobby. So at some point, there's a trade-off. Do I want to play in a super low ping lobby, but wait 5-10 minutes per game to get into a game? Or do I want to play, usually I play between 90 and 100 milliseconds, or do I want to play as quickly as possible? That's usually the route that I take. Now, I think where a lot of people think the Netduma is a cheat device, if you go over here to the VPN, I'm going to click that. Now, I've never set this up. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't know what to do with it, but it is a VPN. And what I don't think people realize is that it's not a no-lag VPN. Again, if I were to go to a server across the world using a VPN, I would have to play using the Netduma at that high ping. As I understand it, there are services that offer you a no-lag VPN so that you can play across the world and still play it at low ping. But that's not something the Netduma can do, and I think that's one of the facets that's confused a lot of people and why they think the Netduma is a cheat device. So we've established ping in layman's terms is the time it takes when you pull the trigger on your controller or mouse for that signal to reach the gaming server and return back to your computer and show on your TV or monitor. In online gaming, especially inside a competitive game such as Call of Duty, ping is highly important. David Vonderhaar, the Treyarch game design director, now infamously said, "Ping is king." It was later determined by gamers such as Exclusive Ace that the better you become as a player, Activision places you into higher ping lobbies, thus hamstringing you against lesser opponents just because you play more and just because you've become more highly skilled than the average player. That gets back to the point I made earlier that even though lower ping lobbies are available to me, I can confirm that on the ping heat map, I often get placed into lobbies with higher pings or have to wait longer for a server with less ping. In a game like Call of Duty, with countless weapons that kill in just a few hundred milliseconds, every millisecond counts. JGod's spreadsheet here helps to hammer home this point. Pay attention to the TTK or time to kill columns. If a gun kills on average between 500 and 600 milliseconds, which is literally a split second, and the average human reaction time is 250 milliseconds, you don't need to be a math major to know that high ping will severely hurt your chances of winning gunfights. Now, I'm probably a slightly above average player skill-wise and stat-wise, but any popular streamer would make me look silly. As of December 28, 2021, I have a 1.47 KD and 139 wins. The vast majority is a solo. Before I started using the Netduma, my ping was regularly between 120 and 200 milliseconds. Now I hover around 70 to 90 millisecond ping or so on average, and less if I'm willing to wait a bit longer to get into a game. Some games it's higher, some it's lower, but the router has helped. My KD and win totals have slowly climbed, so I'll continue to use it. It's really no different than players who have good internet speeds or SCUF controllers or live within 100 miles of an Activision server. But what do you think? Do you use the Netduma? Do you think it's a cheat device? Please let me know in the comments. If you stuck around until the end, I really appreciate it. And until next time, get the hell off my lawn.